The thing about Warner Brothers, they were there at the very beginning. They were not only creating an art form, but also an industry. And you had to be tough.
Studio of the Year.
And the winner is Rocksteady Studios.
Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor.
Special thanks to everyone at Eidos and Warner Brothers who believed in us early on when a lot of people...
There was a bombshell dropped today by Bloomberg. Jason Schreier wrote an article detailing a ton of stuff happening at WB Games.
We have some unfortunate news regarding a few WB Discovery game studios. Plus, the Wonder Woman video game is no longer happening.
With this, it's a whole breakdown of what's going on with Warner Brothers and their game division.
It was too quiet, an unsettling hush that hinted at trouble, not calm. In the Warner Bros. Discovery boardroom, fluorescent lights buzzed as rain pounded the windows, turning Burbank's neon skyline into blurry streaks. David Zaslav, the CEO, stood near the window. His reflection blended with the city lights, but his thoughts were on something else entirely. A stack of spreadsheets in front of him showed numbers he could hardly believe. A debt somewhere between $40 and $45 billion. The red figures glowed on the page, like a warning that this massive empire was starting to buckle. The room was crowded with executives, many of them staring at the laps, hand tightened into fists. A few shifted in the seats, as though trying to flee the tension. Nobody spoke. Finally, Zaslav turned around, his voice steady but cold, a tone that seemed to predict the storm ahead. "We need to make cuts," he said, "big ones." In that moment, everyone felt the finality. Not even Warner Bros. Games, once a celebrated crown jewel that had shaped the entire gaming genre, would be safe. It was hard to believe how far Warner Bros. Games had come. Its story began in 2024 when Warner Bros. Acquired Monolith Productions. That studio was already famous for fear and no one lives forever. Games that push boundaries with advanced AI and inventive storytelling. The acquisition suggested Warner Bros. Wanted more than just surface level ties to gaming. It wanted to transform the industry. Over the next few years, Warner Bros. Built a remarkable lineup. Rocksteady Studios emerged as a star within the Batman Arkham series. In 2009, Arkham Asylum redefined superhero games, blending dark atmosphere, fluid combat, and a vivid take on Gotham City. The success continued with Arkham City and Arkham Knight, turning the series into a modern classic that made players feel they truly inhabited Batman's world. Then Monolith wowed everyone again with Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. Its revolutionary Nemesis system let enemies remember past encounters and evolve, creating personal rivalries that brought the open world map to life. Critics and fans applauded the game for changing how stories could be told in an interactive medium. Meanwhile, NetherRealm Studios revived Mortal Kombat, an arcade classic that had felt outdated. Through cinematic story modes and modernized combat, it rose back to the top of the fighting genre. TT Games, another Warner Bros. Acquisition, delivered steady hits with the family-friendly LEGO titles set in universes like Harry Potter and DC Comics. But the most impressive feat arrived in early 2023 with the Hogwarts Legacy.
A lot to absorb on your first day.
Can't believe I'm here.
An open-world RPG set in J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World. Players roam around Hogwarts, feeling the magic they would imagine for years. The game sold over 20 million copies and reportedly earned more than $1 billion. For a moment, it felt as if Warner Bros. Games could do anything. But beneath that success, trouble brewed. When Warner Media merged with Discovery in 2022, it formed Warner Bros. Discovery. Along with the merger came a staggering debt of around $45 billion. Plus the cost of fueling a new streaming service that devoured cash. Every division, including gaming, came under strict review. Executives looked at mega hits like Fortnite and Genshin Impact, games that generated revenue non-stop with microtransaction, season passes, and constant updates. Why stick with single-player games that sold once, they asked, when a live service model could keep players and wallets engaged for years? Rocksteady, long praised for its immersive Arkham titles, was ordered to pivot drastically. Its new project, Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, would be a live service looter shooter, a sharp break from its story-focused roots. Player-first games began developing multiverses, a free-to-play fighting mashup starring iconic Warner Bros. Characters in a monetization-heavy package. Meanwhile, Monolith Productions tried to hold on to single-player storytelling with the Wonder Woman game, rumored to reuse its beloved Nemesis system. On paper, the pivot looked promising, but as development progressed, it became clear that this shift might cost more than anyone expected, both financially and creatively. February 2024 marked the beginning of the collapse. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League launched only to flop. Gamers slammed the forced online connections, repetitive missions, and monetization that felt like a cash grab. This was supposed to be Rocksteady's next masterpiece. Instead, it felt like a hollow product driven by corporate goals. Warner Bros. Discovery wrote off $200 million. Barely a month later, Multiverses had its official release. Its 2022 beta had teased a fun, crossover fighting game, but the final product was jammed with overpriced character unlocks, $20 skins, and endless season passes. Players walked away in droves. Another $100 million loss hit the books. So much for the dream of a sustainable live service goldmine. Instead, the company had alienated fans who once rallied behind the Warner Bros. Brand. Behind the scenes, Monolith's Wonder Woman project, a long-anticipated single-player epic, sank into chaos. Disagreements, endless redesigns, and ballooning costs pushed its budget beyond $100 million. By late 2024, game revenue had dropped almost 30%, racking up $384 million in losses. Morale plummeted. David Zaslav, who led Warner Bros. Games for over a decade, quietly resigned in January 2025. For many, it felt like the last act before the curtains closed. Rumors spread like wildfire in February 2025. Major players like Microsoft, EA, and Take-Two reportedly circled Warner Bros. Games' assets. Mortal Kombat and the Arkham series, prized franchises, seemed up for grabs. Then, on February 25th, Warner Bros. Games confirmed a devastating reorganization. Monolith Productions, the studio behind the revolutionary Nemesis system, was shut down, killing its Wonder Woman game after over $100 million and years of development. Player-first games disbanded, with Multiverses set to go offline permanently by May 30th. WB Games San Diego, rumored to be working on a DC or Lego project, met the same fate. 99 employees lost their jobs that day. Some found out through brief Slack messages, locked out of their own task before lunch. Others got the news from impersonal group calls. One concept artist clutched an unfinished drawing of Wonder Woman, the last trace of a dream that would never see the light. Fans were furious. Online forums filled with complaints from people who had bought founders packs from Multiverses or eagerly awaited the next Monolith masterpiece. In one shocking moment, the empire that had once pushed gaming forward now looked like an example of corporate greed and broken promises. By March 2025, Warner Bros. Games was a shell of its former self. The division promised to focus on just 4 major franchises: Hogwarts Legacy, Mortal Kombat, Batman, and Game of Thrones. But the creative spark that had once given life to epic stories seemed lost. Developers scattered to other studios or left the gaming world entirely, feeling betrayed by a pivot that valued short-term profit over real innovation. Fans who had grown up exploring Gotham, battling orcs in Mordor, or perfecting combos in Mortal Kombat now watch the studio's downfall with disbelief and heartbreak. Industry watchers saw it as a stark lesson in how debt and corporate oversight can crush even the mightiest creative forces. The hasty decision to live service games, chasing a forever revenue model, clashed with everything that made Warner Bros. Games beloved. Even Hogwarts Legacy, which continued to sell, couldn't fix the deep cracks formed by massive debt and corporate missteps. In the end, Warner Bros. Discovery saved its balance sheet by dismantling the very core of its gaming empire. The meltdown was more than just a financial setback, it was a human tragedy. Years of passion and artistry vanished overnight, replaced by empty studios and shattered dreams. And so, with rain still pouring down on abandoned hallways and offline servers, one truth remained. A legendary creative legacy can vanish when corporate demands overshadow imagination. Because when profit margin triumph over passion, even the greatest empire can be brought to its knees. For every developer who once poured their soul into these worlds, for every fan who lost themselves in Gotham shadows or Hogwarts halls, the day Warner Bros. Games fell will forever mark the magic moment gave away to cold hard numbers.